Former President Donald Trump is providing new evidence to those investigating his efforts to overturn the election.
Despite fraud and many other irregularities, how come the Democrats and Rhino Republicans like wacky Susan Collins are desperately trying to pass legislation that will not allow the vice president to change the results of the election? Actually, what they are saying is that Mike Pence did have the right to change the election, and now they want to take that right away. And this is key. He added here in the statement, unfortunately, he didn't exercise that power. He could have overturned the election.
He could have overturned the election.
Mike,
yikes.
Yeah.
That's
really,
the quiet part out loud?
He's now speaking in shorthand, now saying what he really means. He wanted a free and fair election overturned. Why? Because he didn't win. This fascist instinct to use violence to overturn government institutions. We're seeing it at Trump events.
I hope we are going to have in this country the biggest protest we have ever had in Washington, D.C., in New York, in Atlanta.
At that rally in Texas on Saturday, Trump said if reelected, he would consider pardons for those charged in the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons.
Pardons for those who defiled the U.S. Capitol building January the 6th. And Trump says Mike Pence could have overturned the election. Both statements are now too much even for some Trump supporters in Congress. Hello, everybody. I'm David Shuster, and thanks for joining us. Senators Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and others who tried to block Joe Biden's certification a year ago insist they merely wanted to pause the Electoral College and let the votes in several states get recounted. As despicable as their blocking effort was, they maintained they only wanted a second look and were not seeking to overturn the election without evidence or proof of massive fraud. Well, that's a different approach than what Donald Trump has now put in a press release. Trump says Mike Pence could have, quote, overturned the election, and Trump is angry that Pence didn't take that step. This written Donald Trump statement shows the kind of clear intent that prosecutors would need to bring criminal charges. Whether Trump faces a charge of unlawfully undermining the actions of Congress or sedition, legal experts say Donald Trump has now given prosecutors and investigators the foundation of evidence that should spark a criminal grand jury review, and that Justice Department grand jury should begin immediately. There's no need now to wait for criminal referrals from the January 6th Congressional Committee, although one can bet such criminal referrals will be delivered to the Justice Department eventually. Donald Trump is also dangling the possibility, if reelected, of giving pardons to people who have been convicted in the Capitol insurrection. Even South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, a staunch Trump ally, says he disagrees with the former president on pardoning January 6th convicts.
Well, I think it's inappropriate. I don't want to reinforce that defiling the Capitol was okay. I don't want to do anything that would make this more likely in the future. I want to deter people who did on January the 6th, and those who did it, I hope they go to jail and get the book thrown at them because they deserve it.
When there is daylight between Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump, you know that Trump's position is extreme, and indeed it is. Remember, many of the 700 people charged in connection with the January 6th insurrection fought Capitol Police. They attacked law enforcement officers with flagpoles, chemical spray, wood planks, and electronic cattle prods. 140 officers were injured. And again, Donald Trump thinks the insurrectionists are being treated unfairly. And now Trump wants his supporters to plan more rallies in Washington, New York, and Atlanta to protest the investigations of him. Wow. Power and intimidation are all Donald Trump knows. The rest of us should stand for justice. Enough is enough. A criminal review of Donald Trump is now imperative.